Hello, beautiful souls. We are here again with another Spread This Witches live hangout full of tarot goodness, card slinging witchy goodness, like high vibes, readings, news, just the awesome stuff. And of course, two very special guests. And I will allow them to introduce themselves. First off, we have the lovely, who needs no introduction, Ethony, and I'm sure she's got some tasty tarot news to give to you. So why don't we just kick it in strong, because we've only got Chase here for an hour and a half. He can only commit to an hour and a half, and he also believes that you only need an hour and a half to complete any task humanly possible. So let's put that to the test today. So I'm going to hand over the mic to Ethony. Thank you so much for joining us. We are really looking forward to hanging out with you. Ethony, to you.
Hi, everybody. I'm just assuming this is going to switch over because I can just still see the beautiful Avalon's face. I'm glad to be back talking with this rad bunch of people. And for those of you who don't know and who didn't get on the call last time when we were talking about ethics, gosh, what have I got on? We've still got summer school happening, Tarot Summer School, which Avalon is a part of this year. I've got my Bad Bitches Tarot. They're on the way. They will be here in Vancouver beginning of next week, and then they'll all start to be shipped off to everyone who's pre-ordered them as quickly as possible. So that's very exciting. I put in a very quick call to the gods of customs to have them cleared very quickly. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know me, I'm Ethony, and I'm a card reader, witch, and all around just mischief maker, I guess. I'm a mum too, and that's me.
Oh, thanks, Ethony. We're so excited for your Bad Bitches Tarot. I've got to say, I keep taking, like, it keeps flashing in my social media, and I'm just like, ooh, ooh, ooh. You know, it's very exciting. And from a creative perspective, I'm just like, I can't wait to see how it goes. I can't wait to see how it goes. How's the customs going to go? I want to know. And I'm going to be hitting you up later with some, like, how's the customs? How was that? So awesome. We are so stoked to have you. We are going to be chatting to you today about a little tarot and a little witchcraft and a little of that beautiful magical infusion when a tarot reader is a witch, and they just marry that shit beautifully and, you know, make awesome magic as a result of that. So I can't wait. That's a subject that I can really get behind. And then we have William, and I will allow William to introduce himself and give you a little bit of his news and say a few goodies for you. To you, William.
Oh, hey, everybody. I'm William, or Tarot Changes Lives on YouTube. And I have no news other than I think my summer hiatus is over and I'm going to start recording again pretty soon. But it's really awesome to be here, and I'm giddy.
Exciting. Well, we really love your take on tarot. It's kind of like the traveling tarot that's going on right now. Like, you go to different places and you talk about these mystical, wonderful places in relation to tarot cards. So if anyone doesn't know William and is not aware of his channel, it's a great resource for grounding the cards. So I would like to add his link in the description bar. Hopefully Allorah has, but if she hasn't, apparently I will.
I'm the Virgo. That shit's already done.
She did it. I kind of assumed. All right, and then of course we have co-host, my lovely soul siblings here with me. I'm going to go to Chase first, because Chase has been on, what do they call it? A pilgrimage of sorts, a vision quest, if you will, a pilgrimage. And he has been like bombarding Insta with these awesome, beautiful pictures that I'm just in love with, because the landscape looks so different to my own. I'm here in lush tropical wonderlands with crocodile infested seas and beautiful, you know, waterfalls, and he's there in these like beautiful rolling mountains that are pooling little bits of snow. I'm just like, that's so different. But Here he is. Here's Chase. To you, Chase.
Hello, everybody. I am so glad to be here, and I am just getting off of this beautiful, wonderful high that I've been on the last 5 days with being in Colorado on my vision quest. And I came back, and it was really just the most amazing spiritual experience that I have ever, honestly, that I've ever had. And you know, I am still in that whole. I've been home for like 12 hours, so I'm still in like the readjusting phase, and I've worked all day, and so I literally got home at 8, and so I'm just now sitting down, and you're going to see me jump off the camera a little bit and eat some food because I haven't been able to do that yet today. So I will have to eat at some point, and you know the Tarot Bro doesn't go without food for very long. So I have to have some food. But yeah, I'm so excited to be back, and it honestly was just the most amazing, life-changing experience. I will be making a video soon. It won't be the next couple of days. It'll probably be Wednesday before I actually get to it because I had a 12-hour day today and I have a 12-hour day tomorrow. So Wednesday will be the first chance I get to do that. But I'd love to share it with you guys. And if you have not gone out to my Instagram, 2 Avals, and seen those pictures, literally the most stunning, amazing. Like, it really puts life into perspective. And I am always forever humbled by our planet and just the amazing ginormosity of it, and you know, the energies that we have that we can work with here. And so anyway, to move on from that onto news, I do have a few things. So starting off selfishly, talking about my own deck, I think that I have found an artist. I am fairly certain that I have, and like, she submitted work, and I was just, it's stunning, you guys. And I don't want to make any announcements yet, because I still have people bringing in art, but you know, it was just like she submitted the art, and I just looked at it, and it felt so right, and it felt so good. And so I think I found my artist, so we can start on that. And to talk about other people's decks, so I have it's sort of a real deck, but sort of a gag at the same time. So found some news. San Diego Comic-Con is going to be releasing a Game of Thrones tarot deck on November 7th, but I think the catch is that they're all going to be death cards in some way. So it's going to be a real deck, but it's all going to be dealing with death. And I haven't watched Game of Thrones that much, so I can't really tie into it at all personally, but I know a lot of people are excited about it. So wanted to make that announcement. And then also a tarot deck that I like a lot, and I'm not usually into like black and white decks. Not even like Ellie Piper's deck was black and white, but hers was hand drawn. I'm talking like black and white only decks. But there is a deck out there. It is called the Dark Exact Tarot, and the second edition just dropped today, and it's so pretty. You guys go out to Etsy, and I wish that I would have written down whose Etsy shop that it was, but I didn't because I'm terrible and I've been busy. So go out to Etsy. Again, that's the Dark Exact Tarot, and the second edition dropped today, and it's so good. It is so very good. So that's all I have. So I'm going to pass it on.
Can I just like intercede just for 2 seconds? Chase, are you talking about the Liz Dean Game of Thrones tarot that we've been seeing on our feeds and things like that?
No, this is something different. Yeah, this is a different one. Yeah, it is. That's a really good question.
Because the Liz Dean one, I'm like, I just want to see. I've just been begging for someone to take photos of the minor arcana, because all of Liz Dean's decks are like pip, which pisses me off because they don't put it on the box that they're pip decks. They put only the lovely like major arcana, and then you buy it, and then you're like, damn. I at least want to know what I'm purchasing. So I was like hoping someone at Comic-Con was like taking photos of the minor arcana, but I haven't seen any yet. I've seen the 3 swords, and it looks very Rider-Waite-Smithy, but we don't know. So there's going to be a second deck. So
yes, this is a totally different. Yeah, all of these are images to do with death. So that's all I know so far.
Sweet.
Well, that's perfection. So there's two. Essentially, there's 2 Game of Thrones. One could potentially be a pip deck, and that's a bit shitty if she doesn't label it on the box. Not that I'm having like an ultra like critique of it, but you know, it's kind of like it should be written there somewhere. I myself have purchased decks where they don't put it on the box, and I'm just like, I opened it up, and you have a flick through of the first couple of cards, and you think this is beautiful, and then you get it home and you open it all out, and it's like, oh, dude, like it's a little disappointing. It's a little disappointing. Also, Chase was lying. He was totally eating coconut and almond chips when I hopped on this live. So pants on fire. They're my favorite too, by the way. And now we have Allorah, and I'll go last with my news, but I've got my lovely soul sibling here, my girl, who She needs to come to Australia. Doesn't she, Ethony? She just needs to come to Australia. So does Charlie. Needs to come to Australia.
And wherever you guys go, I will get and I will be like, what's up? So if you guys ever do have a witches like hoo-ha, I'll be there. I'll come and hang. And I'm going to shut up now.
Perfect. Let's organize it. All right, Allorah, to you.
Thank you. So first of all, Chase done stole my news. Thanks for that, but it's okay. Because I had some other stuff that I was bringing in. Actually, my stuff has to do with us as a crew. So we are going to start throwing episodes where all we do is sling cards. And Avalon mentioned quarterly. We haven't worked out the details, but those episodes are coming. And then we're also going to throw up content from ourselves every other week that we don't air live. So on the weeks that there's no live cast with guests, we'll be uploading how-tos and unboxings and anything like that from us. And I don't want to, so that's all I have because Avalon, I think you have the other stuff. So I don't want to take that from you.
I don't have too much to broadcast about what we were talking about last night. That will probably be for the next one. But I do have some news. I've got some of my own news. And because I'm self-centered and it's Leo's time, I would like to talk about my Bonestone and Earthflesh Tarot, which is just quietly so fucking awesome. Like, it's so awesome. It's like so awesome right now. But Bonestone and Earthflesh went up for pre-order almost 2 weeks ago, and there are now, this is the best number ever, there are now 69 decks left. So I'm so excited. I had no idea, none at all, that my deck would be that popular. And I've got to say, I had Chase and Ethony moderating my launch, and the feed got out of control. We got up to 200 plus people, live watching, and I literally jumped off that live. Within the 45 minutes that I was done, I had sold almost 200 out of the 300 decks. So I was like, I had to sit down. I got so drunk, like so drunk. I got that drunk that I walked down to the local little square to order Thai food, and I was smoking a cigar. I was so drunk. It was awesome. I just helped myself to a bottle of wine while I was down there, and I was smoking a cigar and a bottle of wine in a public place, which is totally illegal. But it seemed like the right thing to do in that moment. And I wasn't alone. I had my best friend with me. I had one of my best friends with me. I had my mother-in-law was here. The house was full of people just coming to congratulate me. So that was fabulous. But that has gone live. Bonestone is live. Pre-orders are up for that at the moment. I also have some not me related news. And that is that, first of all, the Witchbone Tarot that people have seen, and the Witchbone Oracle, of course, the Oracle's been out for a little while, but the Witchbone Tarot has just sort of gone out. She did pre-orders a few weeks ago. I've seen a few flashes of cards out there. This deck is freaking beautiful, and I found her on YouTube. I didn't know she was on YouTube. I only knew her through Instagram, and so I will link her YouTube account, and we might even feature her as next week's young channel talent kind of thing, because she has a very small number of subscribers, and I would really like to help boost her channel because her artwork is just beautiful. Her vision of a deck is just amazing. And now I will also talk about what was it that I was going to talk about? The new Romantic Teacup Wisdom Oracle is up for pre-order on Etsy, and I do have the link for that, and I'll put that link in the description bar below. It's very pretty for those who like really pretty, sort of kind of vintagey, just sweet, shabby chic sorts of oracle decks, and you will love this one. And then I have two more that I would like to mention, and that is this one's for Chase, the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot Deck Borderless Edition by US Games. It's coming out soon. It's there for pre-order. And so for those of you who love yourself a good Rider-Waite-Smith deck, there's a little bit of that going on. And Paulina Cassidy has her Spirit Song Tarot coming out. The cover, I've only just seen the cover of it. It's a whimsical elephant, and it's so pretty. It is so whimsical pretty. And for those of you who know, Paulina Cassidy has done quite a few decks. She has a very distinct art style, so you either love it or you hate it. Most people love it because it is really whimsy. It speaks to the inner child, and that's wonderful. So that's coming out soon too, and it's up for pre-order, US Game Systems as well. And I would also like to talk about, because Allorah didn't mention it, but I would also like to talk about Chris Ashburn's new project. Well, actually, Allorah, maybe you should talk about it because you know a little bit more, because this is part of the news that we wanted to reveal. It's a little bit of the witchy part of the news.
Yeah, I can do that. So Chris Ashburn, if you do not know who she is here on YouTube. She is fucking amazing, and she is a death midwife. And she came out with Helcape face paint, and let me tell you, it is gorgeous. It is mostly made with all natural things. I think like 98% or something like that. The base of it is, hold on, let me think, kaolin clay, I believe. But anyhow, she created this stuff in Ritual Space, and basically it's powdered pigment that it comes in a kit. So she'll send you the tube of pigment, and it's been sealed and blessed, and everything in the packaging has a meaning. So you get that, and then you also get a shell and a little dropper full, like a little bottle of water, like consecrated water. She sends that with it. It's like a kit. And then you just pour some of the powder into the shell and a dropper, like a couple of drops of water, and it turns to paint. And it's face paint. And when she came out with it, I was so excited because I actually got a little bit behind the scenes knowledge about it before it released. And when it did release, I told her, I said, this stuff is going to fly, man, because nobody's doing anything like it. It's, and she's a death midwife. And I said, what you have done is you have given death a face, because we die all the time in our practice, and we're constantly being reborn and rebirthed and moving from one phase to another. And it's just a way to honor those times when you're rebirthing by painting your face. And right now there is she has tears, blood, soot, and smoke, I think, or no, bone and soot. Bone, soot, blood, and tears. So it's red, blue, white, and black. But I know that she has plans for more colors, and I also know that she has plans to create like a package deal so you can get multiple colors at once, I think. I'm not sure. But yeah, that stuff is amazing, and I have plans for it myself to start using it in the custom deity candles that I do, and I'm even gonna paint my own damn face and submit product pictures for her. So I'm super stoked.
That's perfection. Just quietly. I love to paint myself. When I go out to do my thing, my woo-woo thing with the coven, like where we like smother the body with stuff, like smother it, whatever's available, ochre, mud, like it's you got to be covered, because there's such a significantly awesome feeling to paint your body, to adorn your body, your actual skin, and then be able to like sit in that and then and sort of marinate in it like a cocoon, and then just plunge into a crystal clear river and like wash it all off and come off, and you feel a little bit like reborn. There is an awesomeness to that. All right, so let's jump in to our juicy tasty subject, which is, first off, we'll address the awesomeness that is Ethony, and every single person here has, you know, has opinions to contribute to this, but tarot and witchcraft. Now, before I move on with this subject, I would just like to say that if you are a tarot reader, that doesn't automatically make you a witch. And if you are a witch, it also doesn't automatically mean that you read tarot. It's just one of those super awesome, happy moments when a witch finds tarot, falls in love, and makes tarot babies. And that's wisdom that I'm talking about. That's the wisdom. And so there is so many awesome, you know, witchy card slingers out there, and there are some amazing people doing some really beautiful stuff with tarot in a magical sense. So I'm talking tarot and manifestational spell work, tarot and shamanic journeying, tarot and incense making, tarot and you know, path working, meditations, moon rituals. Oh my God, I just get so excited. And so and today, it's my jam. It's my jam. I'm kind of teaching ritual tarot at Ethony's Tarot Summer School at the moment. It's got a little magic. It's got a little something there to it. So it's my thing. It's my thing that I really like. And I know there are heaps of other people out there who love to sling cards on a full moon or a new moon and go, okay, what am I going to do? Okay, let's weave together a ritual from the findings in this reading. And that to me is something super special. So Ethony, do you want to talk to us a little bit first about your witchcraft, like your witchy self, and then how you marry your tarot practice with your witchcraft and the beautiful, unique stuff that you do?
Cool. So I actually found the tarot through my craft practice. I found, a long story short, I found a book when I was 15. I was doing research for an English assignment, and I found the craft first, and then I found tarot afterwards. Because a lot of people, when they are learning the craft, they learn different sort of, it's almost like Hogwarts, like you dig herbs, or you're really into like working with familiars, and you'll find that as you go, especially if you're doing any sort of training, once you do the year in a day or your 101 and you get initiated, then you start to really find your niche, and you really start to find the things that you are naturally attracted to. And tarot was it just felt like, again, it was like coming home again after finding the craft and coming home that time as well. So for me, it's always been an extension of, it's a really beautiful way to round out ritual for me. So whenever I was working with a coven or even just by myself, for Sabbats, we would always lay cards to just have a moment of reflection after ritual, a moment of the sisterhood or whoever we're with being able to share what we see for each other in the cards in sacred space, and to reflect on that. And then there's also, I work a lot with the tarot as archetypes for magic and for keys for magic. And I don't feel, and I don't think anyone here would disagree with me, but you can if you would like to, I don't feel like there needs to be this just one way that you can see or use tarot, right? In some instances, your client is going to need more of a shoulder and an ear, and more of like a cheerleader and a coaching, and just someone who've had no one to fucking talk to, no one understands they're going through, and they need that. So for you, that's what the tarot is going to be at that point. Then your next client needs some fucking options. So they're going to need you like dig down into that mystic shit and give them some options to like look at where they're going to go. And then the next time you sit with your tarot, you're going to be working with it with the new moon to set your fucking goals and manifest your shit, and like just get on your witchy side, and you want to see where that energy is going to go. So for me, it's like any tool, it's an extension of how versatile we are. So I definitely use it for all types of magic. I'm really into helping people sort out their shit with money, because as a spiritual community, we have got our heads up our asses around money most of the time, because money is just in place of the things that we value, because we cannot barter for fuel for our car anymore. Like, we need to get it out of our heads that we can do that right now. Yes, maybe in the future, but we need to kind of get our heads out of our asses about the way the world works, so we can have enough power to change the world the way the world works, right? So I work a lot around money. I do a lot of stuff with the moon. Most people have seen my new moon, my full moon spreads. So for me, it's a total extension of who I am. So it's in every aspect. It's sort of a divination aspect, a craft aspect. it enriches it. It's on my altars. It's on my vision boards. It's for goals. It's yeah. I found that because I also view it as a book of life. It shows us the different things that archetypes we're going to meet, the people we are, the people we'll experience, the people we'll become, and then unbecome, and then grow into, and then not like anymore and shift. And our stages in life and our experiences, it's just a total extension of that. So I use it for friggin' everything, except I don't destroy my cards. No, not my babies. No.
No, not the babies. Don't burn them. Don't send them floating down rivers. Don't drop them at people's doorsteps. I mean, if it's an ugly deck that you don't want, then yes, go ahead and do that. But if it's every other deck in your collection, then like people know how I feel, don't they, Chase? People know. Oh, just quickly, Ethony, do you riffle shuffle or do you hand over shuffle?
Both, but I love my riffle shuffling. My teacher, my in-person teacher, because I learned from books, and then I worked in a lot of stores. I worked in a lot of metaphysical stores. And my first tarot teacher, I got a reading from her first, and she did the riffle shuffle, and I was like, bitch, I gotta go home and learn me how to do that. And I shit you not, I spent like ages trying to figure out how to do it, and I'm like, I can do it. And it was like the clouds parted and the angels sang. So I was like, no, I'm going to learn how to do it. So I do I riffle shuffle, and then I'll do the back to fronts, and then I'll even do this if I can get my cards out fast enough. So I'll even do like that. So sometimes as well. But yeah, I learned how to riffle shuffle. I was like, I want to learn how to do that.
It's an important question, isn't it? Like, there are those who riffle, there are those who hand over, and then there are those who forward back. So front and back. I'm a bit of front and back, hand over. That's my style. And if I'm going to get really hectic, then let's just smush them all over the floor, like an anointed floor, to get some reversals, to keep it really mystical, like full moon on the grass, on a blanket, and just like move them around. It's very meditative, actually, because ordinarily you're concerned about moving your decks like that. Ordinarily you're concerned about, are you going to use reversals? Are you not going to use reversals? How many reversals? Like, a lot of people like to control it, so they'll split the deck in half and then flip it and then begin to shuffle it for ages and ages, whereby you can actually use it as a form of meditation to lay it out on a blanket underneath the moon and just like sing to your cards, like sing them to life, burn some incense, add an element of magic to it, like put some crystals around you, have some herbs. Hell, look at the picture of my altar at any point in my life. Do that in a circle. That's all you need. It's very natural. It's very natural is what I'm saying.
You muted yourself.
Sorry. Nah. Will, how do you view tarot, witchcraft, the marrying of the two, tarot and divination, tarot and mysticism in general? It's very much infused in the tarot. Mysticism is there whether you want to view it or not. It is there, and you can pull a lot out of the tarot if you want to, but if you don't, you also don't have to, you know? So I'd love to hear some of your opinions, please, Will.
Right. So mysticism is infused in the tarot, but so is 14th century Italian Catholicism. So I think that you take what any person can do this, and any religious system can have it. I'm very careful with my own spiritual practice about being like, I'm the tarot reader, and I also have a great big bushy beard and I sing to trees. Like, I don't like to do that to people that I'm reading for. So my opinion is that it is an agnostic practice that is rooted in mysticism, and I take it for what it is.
So can I interject, because I have that question there?
Mm.
So do you approach it more like psycho-spiritual aspect, or how do you approach it from, like, how do you approach the mystical element along with the historical element and the, you know, all of the symbolism and all of that?
Oh my God. I love the symbolism, and I teach the symbolism, and I teach the history. 78 Degrees for Wisdom is like a master's thesis, and that gives you all the archetypes and all of the, in the 1400s, this is this, and it was amazing for me to learn all of that. And so I'll teach it, but I just try to, I try to allow everybody to come to it on their own. As far as my own practice goes, I practice in the present. I want to know what bothers you. What's the monster under your bed? How are you dealing with things? Can we work together to make a change? I'm very much like the holistic counselor. I think I even put that on my card. I'm not sure.
Nice. Nice. And the other question I wanted to ask you is, your channel is so different from anything that I've seen in regards to the creative aspect of how you go about approaching the tarot. We see cards every day in our everyday lives, but
Absolutely.
There's never been anyone that I have seen that has brought that to YouTube. So I just was curious, like, how you came to, like, you know what, this is what I'm going to do.
I'm going to be blunt. Okay. It's just, I don't understand the hype. I don't. I appreciate it. I think everybody's so nice to me, but I was just like, bitch, I just went outside. Go outside. It seemed natural to me. I love to hike, and I love to rough ramble and put 14 stones in my rucksack and all that, you know, and I just went outside. That's it. It blows my mind how everybody's like, oh my God.
It's just,
that's fair enough. But I suppose when something is unique, lots of people don't go outside. I don't know if you know about these video games, but they now emulate.
I don't play
nature
them, so.
And that makes a person feel as though they are connecting with nature. Yes, I suddenly sounded like Pauline Hanson.
I heard that.
Ethony would know Pauline Hanson. She's an Australian politician that's a little controversial. So I'm just going to move away from that little sound that my voice was making then accidentally. I think people are very attracted to it, because of the spaces in nature that you're going, which would be geographically different to, say, my background. It's either a beach or a waterfall. We don't have castles. There's not an old building. Cairns. I think the oldest standing building in Cairns might only be 150 years old, and I'm not even sure that it's that old. You know what I mean? We don't have very, very old structures here. So to see old structures when you don't have constant access to them, it's a bit mind-blowing. And then to infuse the tarot into that, which is itself, you know, of ancient origins, the merriment of those two things is quite creatively expansive for individuals who don't have that kind of thing at their doorstep, who live in deserts.
It took me a second to figure out that we were a 21st century technological society that protects our young, and natural selection has been replaced by roller coasters. So I got woke up to that, but I think that it's wonderful, and it makes my heart sing, and I love it. But I just went outside. That's it.
I get it. It's yeah. But again, whatever we do ourselves is no big deal. Like, we just do what we love, right? We do what's very natural to us, and yet it's fascinating to somebody else. I find people watching fascinating. All they're doing is walking up and down, wearing different clothing to myself, but their mannerisms, their language is fascinating to me. And yeah, I think that's what makes YouTube so great, is that individually we get up there, we're doing essentially the same thing, but we're doing it, each person's doing it a little bit differently. And I think you filled a little bit of a gap there, because I haven't seen anyone associate landscapes with tarot in a very physical way. And I think that's beautiful.
Wow. Okay. Avalon Cameron likes me. Be cool. Be cool, Will. Be cool. Bring it down.
I'm gonna need you to not be a fanboy.
I can't help it. Look it.
All right. So who else have we got? Who else wants to comment on this? The marriage man. No. the marriage, that's the word, the unity. Let's go with unity, because marriage is such a binding contract. The unity of tarot, witchcraft, and if you're not comfortable with the term witchcraft, other mystical flavors. So who wants to comment next? Allorah, Chase, do you want to arm wrestle for it? Chase, have you got some eating to do? You need to eat. And she can give
What?
She can give you some time here to have a snack, because we know you're going to have you're going to faint if you don't get the necessary proteins in this next, few minutes.
Yes, I would love to snack while Allorah speaks.
Is it sad that I know that this dude has to eat every 2 hours? Like, we will be working on something and he'll be like, hold on. It's been 2 hours. I need food. I'm like, what? Oh gosh. Okay, so I'm speaking on the marriage of tarot, witchcraft, and okay, so last night was the new moon in Leo. And for the first time in I don't even know when, I did full out ritual, which is crazy because I love the moon cycles, but I'm not typically a person that is like, yes, it's a new moon. Yes, it's a full moon. But for some reason this summer, the moon cycles have really been speaking to me. So last night I was feeling it, did a full out ritual, slung cards. I mean, full on, called the quarters, called the elements, called in God and Goddess, called in my totem animals. And it was amazing. And something else weird happened to me last night, magically. And I actually want to ask Avalon if this has ever happened to her or Chase or any of you. So last night I was on, right before I did ritual, I was on Facebook and I was scrolling and somebody had commented and said, there's a thunder and lightning storm outside. I can totally feel the energy or I'm energized by it or whatever. And I thought in my head, damn it, I want there to be thunder and lightning. And I shit you not, like a minute later, the sky fucking opened up, torrential downpour, thunder, lightning, just craziness. Has that ever happened to you guys?
Can't pinpoint a moment myself. I'm sure, no, that's not true. Maybe not with thunder and lightning, but definitely the ritual mind space and the going, I wish I had this, or I want a confirmation, or I want something, and it will always come, whether a snake slithers across my feet, a bird just flaps out of nowhere, somebody just walks through ritual space and hey, there's always a synchronicity there. And I think that whenever you're working ritual and magic, you're literally in the space where synchronicities occur because you're aligning energy centers. You're working on the web, like you're web weaving, right? And so if something is already on a very close by web and you tug that little strand, that's just going to bring that something a little bit closer. And then it causes this beautiful butterfly effect. It's called magic, folks. If you don't believe in it, I feel very sorry for you.
Well, and I found too that when I slung cards last night in ritual, because I haven't done it in a very long time, and last night when I was slinging, it was so much more powerful for me than when I just sling normally. And that's not to say that I didn't, when I sling normally, I don't give it my all, or I'm not in sacred mindset or anything like that. It's just to have all of those things in place in my craft, to have casted a circle and called the quarters and called my totems and called gods and goddesses and all of that. It just made them more potent, if that's the right word.
Yeah, that's the right word. I like that. I like the ritual setting. I think that I think that's part of the reason why many of us do ritual and use our tarot cards in ritual space, is because it really does add layers of focus. You're casting your spiritual circle, you're preparing your mind. It does something in your mind. It actually moves your spirit in a way. And by moving your spirit, as without, so within, as within, so without, you shift your external perspectives, right? So everything that you do that aligns your focus and that adds those layers, those focused layers on, and your mind begins to expand, so too does everything around you. And most of us would know that feeling of being in somewhere truly sacred, a truly sacred space, whether created by yourself, by your own hands, or, you know, sitting in the majesty of nature in a place that feels incredibly old and very sacred. You can feel that energy. It's ripe for the picking. It tingles on your skin. It causes the hairs on your arms and legs to stand on end. It ripples up the back of your neck. Like, you know when there is magic present. And the beautiful thing about witchcraft is that you can create that sense of magic, that crackly, delicious, beautiful sense of magic wherever you want, because you have the skill to do so. Whereas those who do not have the skill to do so will wander through nature and stumble across these places and go, amazing. What was it about that place? Machu Picchu, amazing. Oh, amazing, you know? And I'm like, that is a place that has buried in its very flesh, in its very dirt, hundreds upon hundreds, if not thousands of years of sacred rites. Like, that's there, of death, of life, of war, of just life, just amazing life that was lived in a way that we in this modern day do not connect with. But that's there in these areas. And there's so many different places. Like, Machu Picchu is a well-known place. But imagine the landscapes of our world that do not have, you know, tourist points that are nationally or internationally recognized. Amazing shit still happens on your own patch of geography. So, you know, but that's a thing. Like, you can, as a witch, create your sacred space, whereas others stumble across it, you know, naturally. It's there for everyone to experience. The feelings are very, very similar. But, you know, having a certain amount of knowledge behind it and control to create that to me is a wee bit special. Thoughts? Anyone got thoughts?
I just want to say before Chase jumps in, as a witch who has been to Machu Picchu and has been to many of the sacred sites around the world, like, it is a head fuck and a half when you're in places like that. And for me, a lot of the time I have to decide to kind of be like, okay, I need to put a little bit of my energetic boundaries in place because I don't need to go down that rabbit hole on a tour. And I've never done the whole like hop on a bus and hop off a bus. This was like, we hiked there, you know, like we spent days hiking there. And it wasn't the Inca Trail where there's hundreds of people. We actually took a trail through places where we had to ask for directions. We stayed with villages, with women, men and children who don't have television power. We slept with llamas outside. Like, it was fucking phenomenal. So when we got there, and just to stand in spaces like that as someone who's even half energetically aware, and you wonder, like, why do people take stones from here? Why do people desecrate, you know, something that they will never understand? Because places like that blow my fucking mind. And like, I always wanted to be Indiana Jones, so it was also, I was having a moment. But you mentioned Machu Picchu, and I was like, yes, like, there's so many, and like Uluru is the same. Why walk on Uluru? You have no right to. There's no need for you to walk on Uluru. So what you and your white privilege can talk about how you stepped on Uluru. Don't step on the rainbow serpent. That is fucking disrespectful. You know, so it's just interesting that when you come from any sort of pagan practice or spiritual practice where you're just like, and then you go to these places, it's a bit. Anyway, I just was like, yes, I've been there and it's amazing. I didn't sling cards, but I did have my Morgan Greer with me.
That's a great deck to take on the road. That's the deck that's in my car, actually, the Morgan Greer. But so much good stuff in what you're saying. And I think that also by developing your awareness of that sensation of sacred space, whether it is through consistently casting ritual spaces, creating sacred spaces, whether you cast circles or not, call quarters or not, neither here nor there. Most mystics know how to create a sense of sacred space. It can be simple, it can be elaborate. There's no how-to for this. There's no set form for that, you know. But if you're accustomed to that, when you do go to one of these amazing sacred places, then there's extra there for you. You know, there's what the tourists see. Oh my God, this is so beautiful. Take a few thousand pictures and not print any of them out. We'll just put it on the hard drives. And then there is the holy doolies. I'm having a moment. I just connected with this land right here, this little patch of land right here. I'm getting a message. I'm having, I'm connecting with an ancient ancestor from this area. And I can say ancestor. That's my neck of the woods over there. Yeah.
And Avalon is like, have you ever been to Machu Picchu? No.
Yeah, I've been 3 times.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
I know, I'm kind of jealous it's your ancestry.
I did the bus once and I'm like, this is so much easier. Once you do your treks a couple of times, you're like,
a bus will do. Yeah.
Yeah. A bus
Peru for me was one of my favorite places in the world. Ollantaytambo, everywhere in Peru I went, and Nazca, the whole lot. Like, I felt like it feels like a sacred, it must be a ley on the ley lines and stuff like that. But yeah, that country is magic.
I would say so. Yeah. Peru, Colombia. Colombia's got its own magic. Chile's got its own magic. You know, South America is a very activating place, but the same could be said about any patch of geography all around the place. Now take that awareness of energy and take a tarot deck or a tool of divination, full stop. If tarot's not your bag, that's fine, because there are other tools of divination that can help you, to assist you to tap into energies that are sacred. There are also tools that can allow you to create that sense of sacred. Now, as a tarot reader, as a card slinger, and a ritualistic sort of a person, when I lay out my tarot cards, I swear the energy in wherever I am, it shifts a little bit, because I don't view my tarot as pieces of cardboard. They are ritual tools to me. That's a ritual tool. Now, you can view it as a deck. You can view it as a deck of cards. You can play cards with it. You can do whatever you want, tricks, whatever. Use it for collaging. That doesn't bother me. But the fact of the matter is, when I hold a deck in my hand, that is the beginning of a ritual. You know, it's practically actually the middle of a ritual, because everything that goes before and after that makes just the grabbing of that tarot deck the meat in the sandwich. So.
Okay.
Thoughts, anyone?
Hey, wait. I want Chase to interject here, because you just went on a vision quest and took tarot, so I want to hear about that.
I've been sitting over here silent this whole time, just like antsy as shit, because I just got done doing all this. And so every time somebody says something, you're like, nope, you're going to keep on talking. And then, nope, somebody's going to keep on talking. I've been sitting over here so patient this whole time, because I just got done doing all this. And so it's so fresh in my mind. Like, everything that we're talking about, I just did this for the last 5 days. This was, my trek up Mount Snicktaw. For me, spirituality starts, and this is going to be a little bit of a shamanic view. And you will never hear me call myself a shaman, because I don't. That's a really elite title. And that is a really, that is a really high place to be. And in my belief system, if I have to call myself a shaman, then I'm not there yet. And so it's just always a place for me to aspire to be. But I am very much on a shamanic journey, And so anyway, I've done all of this. And for me, in my practice, where spirituality starts, going back to what I was saying, is nothing in spirituality for me. If it's easy, then I feel like you're wasting your time. And, I say that sweetly, but, a practice takes work, and it takes dedication. And for me specifically, in order for me to call my totem and to really feel spiritual energy, I have to put myself in a physically stressful place. So that's why I go on Vision Quest. This hike up Mount Snicktaw I didn't hike up a flat road, y'all. Like, Mount Snicktaw is extremely steep. It was extremely hard. And I don't say that to get laurels from you guys or a pat on the back. I'm saying that those are the places that I have to put myself in order to feel spirit, and to feel that I can, be in a place where I can be with the energies and feel them. And like Avalon was saying, I was up there on Mount Snicktaw. I made it to the top, and it was just, you feel it. You feel the energy. And I even talking about it right now, I goosebumps. It was just it was the best vision quest I've ever done. And I saw almost every animal from my totem on this trip. And I'm so close to Eagle. And, you get up to a point, again, it's Mount Snicktaw is super steep. The reason that I chose it, because it's not well known and it's difficult. And so, halfway up, you're up in that altitude, and you're out of breath, and it's hard, and it is work. And, I'm having my first moments of doubt that I'm like, why did I do this to myself? I don't think I can make it. Eagle flew in and landed next to the rocks next to me and called out to me. And it was just the most I'm going to cry right now because it was such an emotional experience, but I'm going to try and keep a really straight face. But it was just it was the most spiritual moment that I have ever had. And it was in that moment that I was like, no, I'm going to fucking make it, because this is what I came here for. And if I quit now, then what was the point of driving 10 hours to climb this fucking mountain? I'm going to climb this fucking mountain. And so, you know, in that, you know, this is really the first time that I have put tarot and mixed it in with all of this, and the readings that I did, and the readings that I did for myself and for others. And it was the most spiritually growing experience that I have ever had. And again, I've round that all up, you know, by saying again, ritual should never be easy. And I think obviously we don't want to put ourselves in so much duress that we hurt ourselves. That's counterintuitive. But I think the more of ourselves and the more energy that we put into it ourselves, and I've said this a lot in our live shows, I feel like I say this a lot, but there's an energy transference there. We can't just, you know, sit in an energetic place. We can enjoy it for sure. And all of us, you know, we can feel that, and we can feel it and be in it and live in it and appreciate it. But, you know, when we put in the energy in an energetic place, in an energetic way, that transference there, that is where we can create, and that is where we can feel the energy, and that is where we can, I don't want to use the word manipulate, but we can, because I don't ever think we can manipulate it. I think there has to be, because I think energy is energy in and of its own self, and it has its own place and its own purpose and its own time and its own drive and its, you know, its own prerogative, if you will, to quote Bobby Brown. But you know, I don't think that we can necessarily like hold it in our hand but I think we can very much connect with it, and we can ask, and we can meditate on it, and we can meditate in it. And, you know, I would even go so far to say as we can become one with it, because I very much felt that, you know, on the top of this mountain. And it's actually the first time that I've felt super duper connected, beyond connected. Like I've literally felt like we were oneness. And, you know, on the way down, it was something that I got to take with me, and that I still have with me, and I hope that it stays with me. Who I was climbing up the mountain is not who I am climbing down. It just left me in a very new place, and extremely humbled. Like I was saying earlier, it was I'm forever humbled by our planet and the energy that it has, and just how massive landmarks can be, like mountains. You don't ever realize how big it is until you're on top of one, looking down at trees that look like shrubs, you know. And we're not talking, Colorado doesn't have small trees. Those trees are huge. And you know, it changed my life in such a way that I'm going back to school in August, and I have changed my major to outdoor rec, and I want to live out in it, and I want to be in it. And like, that's just energy that I crave and that I need and that I want. So I loved it. It was awesome.
That is legit phenomenal. Like, that to me is everything. That's a little bit of everything. I must, however, disagree with you on the fact that we cannot manipulate energy, because I happen to believe we're made of protons, neutrons, and electrons. We are, in fact, embodied kinetic energy, and we can, every time we move our hands forward, we're moving that energy. And I think that by working magic and having some kind of an understanding of energetic principles, we can, in fact, usher. Perhaps the word coerce is slightly more effective in this scenario. We can move it in a direction that favors us. That's all we're doing. We're moving it. We're bringing it to us. We're moving it away. I'm bringing flame here, from there to here, and I'm putting it away. I sound like I'm high, I swear. It's very smoking in here. No, but that's the only part that I would disagree with you. I think that whenever we go on pilgrimage, I call it an odyssey. My channel is actually called Avalon Spiritual Odyssey. Why? Because I travel more than anyone I know, and I go to really uncharted locations. Like, I've been in Indigenous communities here in Australia where I was one of just 100 white people, you know, and I spent a year there, you know, and I went out to these lands, to these sacred plains, to these sacred lands where, you know, rarely another white person had ever gone, you know, and that's very transformative, you know. And you don't ever go to a place like that and come back exactly the same. You pick up little pieces of that sacred, you pick up little pieces of that, you know, that beautiful energy or that disturbing energy, as is sometimes the case whenever you venture Indigenous wise here in Australia. There's a lot of trauma in the land here. You know, you pick up a little bit of that, and you're never ever the same person. Whenever you take an odyssey, a pilgrimage, a vision quest, just whenever you travel like that, really, really travel off the beaten track, like Ethony was saying, not the bus route, the go through the village route. Whenever you slug it, whenever you're carrying your bag, whenever you put thought into the fact that you have to pack so light and so small because you're going to walk so far, that's when you're in that journey phase. Like, that's the journey part of it. And I love that. I can't do that anymore. Like, I'm not down with that. Like, I keep it local when I do that. But now I take mattresses when I go camping and a tent and a pillow and a doona. And I won't lie. When I go to bed in my canvas tent with my awesome mattress, my pillow and a doona, I'm having a great sleep, and I'm not even for a second regretting my choices.
Okay, can I say something here real quick? So for me, I have half a heart, so I can't do the physical things that you guys can do. However, funny part is, it's harder for me to sit still and not challenge myself than it is to challenge myself. So I've actually come to some of the greatest understandings of my spiritual practice going out into the woods, kind of getting lost wherever I was going, and not doing a damn thing. Like, not moving, not nothing. So I find it very interesting because I would love more than anything to be able to climb a mountain or anything like that. But I mean, and not to say that I can't, I mean, I could, but it would take me, I don't even know how long it would take me. And it's not exactly conducive for me, but I find that really interesting that the things that you're able to do can provide you with the most spiritual clarity. And it doesn't even matter, like, if you physically can't or can or anything like that. So, like, if you can't, like, spirit will give you something else, some other avenue in which to access that space. You know what I mean?
Can I also mention with that as well, with there's also things like if you physically can't, I've done many sweat lodges, where it is a different type of preparation. It's just as fucking hard physically, not to want to bolt for the damn door. You get to dragon through, you're like, oh my God, do we have to go through that gateway? So you can do that. You can also do silent, you can go to ashrams and do silent vipassanas, which is also, can you imagine like me sitting in a vipassana, a silent vipassana, and you can do them for trade, so you can go and work and they don't even have to be super expensive. So there's lots of, you can even do different sorts of less impactful journeys. You can do meditative journeys and actually have that set out as well, where you actually allocate more than just a couple of like 20 minutes, where you would do a day journey or whatever it was. So while I've done both of those things, where I've hiked up the mountain and I couldn't breathe, and nearly been knocked off a mountain by a donkey, true story. And then I've also done the sweat lodges and the silent work and the stiller work. It's hard for people who, but as you're saying, if you're looking for the experience, spirit will open the door.
That's exactly it. There's an experience out there for everybody. There really is. There's a way to connect like that for everybody. No one is disadvantaged. You just need to only open up your mind and accept what comes through from spirit. So William, being that you are the one that treks through nature and pinpoints these beautiful cards and and associates and then grounds some of that beautiful wisdom into these cards, like, how does it feel for you personally while you're there? What exactly makes you feel like one location embodies that card for you? Is it an energetic or a visual thing, or a combination of both?
I think it's got to be a combination of both, because we see things in these cards when we use them every day, and it's just like we remember the shape of a stop sign, or we navigate by landmark and turn left at the courthouse. you notice the pillars of learning, and you notice water, you know, like you'd notice it in a card and go, wait a minute, that was the video I did just recently. But I think that you recognize the traditional images in your card, but I get peaceful, easy feelings or aggressive feelings, or you get these, you know, I don't like to use a lot of woo language just because I work with so many different kinds of people, but I can't deny that you do get like the feelings too. I've never actually been asked that question or had to answer it. This is wonderful. Thank you.
That's lovely. That's lovely. There is definitely there's a certain little something extra to reading tarot, and I think that's an important thing to embrace as well. Like tarot is technically, it's neutral. It really is. Anyone can use it, as we've mentioned here before. Anyone can use it. It's available to anyone. You can, if you want to, weave any kind of persuasion, if it's Kabbalah, numerology, astrology, something else, I Ching, you know, like something completely different. It's there. It's a beautiful canvas for which to project on if you wish to do that. Or you can just use it straight up raw, you know. That's the beautiful thing. But there is this undeniable thing that occurs when you read tarot, and that is that it really does ignite your intuitive center. Whether you want to use the word intuition or psychic here is up to you. I honestly believe they mean the same thing, just intuitive is a much more palatable word for people because psychic is such a strong, scary word. But when you're reading the cards, the way that you see them out on a table, you have to weave together the story. Somebody's asked you about a love thing or a career thing or a promotion thing, an academic thing. And what you're doing is you're using those cards that can be used for any question whatsoever, and you're weaving together using that little something extra, the story. And so there is that element of intuition and of mysticism there, strictly that you as a human being with emotions and senses are in fact utilizing this tool. Your senses going to overdrive whenever you utilize a tool that is psychic or intuitive, that has been used in a particular way for so long that, you know, whether or not you're familiar with tarot or you're not familiar with tarot, when you start shuffling cards, oracle tarot cards, then you start to feel a little something come through, and you wonder sometimes, where did that message came from? Why did I choose to marry that card with this card and create that message? But you don't second guess yourself. You just go with the flow of it, because, you know, that's that moment of beautiful intuitive flow. You don't second guess it, and then the amazing thing happens. The client that you're reading for, the person that's sitting before you, or the person that receives that reading goes, "How the fuck did you know that? How did that happen?" And really, how does it happen? How do you get that exact situation that has never been mentioned out of those cards? Like, that is not just reading cards. That's something else. That's a little something else, which is why there's that element of magic, of mysticism, of psychic deliciousness infused in just about, like, every really good reading, every reading that hits that mark, every reading that, you know, that avoids the center question but goes around to hit you in the back of the head with a, this is what's really going on, you know, and then you're like, oh my God, how did you even know that? Like, it happens so often. If you're a reader, if you sling cards, if you're that type of person that's always dealing cards out for other people, they come to you with a career question and you hit them up with a love question, but what about this love thing that's going on? You know, they're like, oh my God, how did you know that? You know? It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing that happens. And that's a sense thing, right?
Okay. You develop a reputation. You develop a reputation amongst the 20-somethings that you do pro bono work at the hookah lounge for, that can't figure out which end of their life is up, and you walk in the door and they go, "It's the wizard." It is the coolest feeling ever. But I do want to say, as the teacher, you know, if that's my role in tarot, that I want to bring something back around again, and that is no matter at what point in your practice you're at, you will second guess yourself. And I'll tell you what will end it is when whoever you're reading for It's their like bitchy girlfriend comes around behind their back and they're like, you were absolutely right about everything and I don't know what her problem is. And after that happened to me about 10, 20 times, I just stopped doubting it. And I tell people to this day, I can't put your finger on exactly what makes it work, but watch other people come around and put their stamp on your work. I think that's the best feeling in the world.
It's a true, I think that's true too. I've got to say we know, like, this is the thing, right? Like, back me up here, guys. This is the thing. When you do a reading for a person, they politely thank you for that reading, but say that nothing resonated. And then 3 to 6 months later, come back to you with this epic long email going, oh, I didn't see it at the time. And then like a life story right there. Like I don't let bad exchanges between clients ever affect me, because that would, you know, slowly chip away at your confidence. You know, it's insidious. Just know that there's a tarot reader out there for everybody, and not everybody is the right tarot reader for you. So respect that. But there's also that time where the person that's receiving the message doesn't really want to be there. They're not ready for it, and then them this message, it's not that it's badly received, it's just that it's not well received. They're not open to it at all. In which case, if they're not open to it, what are they doing there? So there's a lack of self-awareness there, and then later on that message will creep on in and affect them, and ripple effect, you know. That's another form of magic to me. Like, that's the magic of truth. That's the magic of expansive perspectives. That's the magic of and wisdom of tarot. Like, that follows you through, whether or not you're open to it or not. Eventually it's going to hit you, even if it's a year or 2 years down the track. Like, you're going to remember that reader that told you this thing that you just didn't see at that time, that you didn't want to believe at that time, that you weren't ready for at that time, and 2 years down the track it's going to be ready. It's a thing. Hang on, I'm getting messages that I can't read. Chase, actually, Chase, you've just spoken about your beautiful pilgrimage, and did you end up doing any cool ritual while you were on that beautiful pilgrimage of yours? Were you inspired by your landscape in any way to create a spread for your tarot cards in that moment? Like, did anything like that sort of just converge into your practice? Do you want to save that for your own video?
No, I don't need to save anything. You know, there's so much to talk about. I mean, I can talk about that. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I absolutely inspired by everything that was around me. And again, I went with other people just, you know, for safety, because Mount Snake was such a steep mountain. I'm firmly convinced you don't hike alone. So I did take a squad with me to get there. So I didn't have a chance to, you know, do a full out ritual like I wanted to, you know. In a full out ritual, I've paint my face in ash, and, you know, flutes and sounds and chanting and all those things I didn't get to do. But yeah, when I got to work with the cards, it was just like, it was the most like natural. I laid out cards in ways that I've never thought about. Like, it was just the weirdest thing, that everything was so in sync, and so it just worked out so well, you know. I had these freaking bomb ass designs with the cards, and I knew exactly what each placement was, and I wish I would have written it down, but I didn't, because I didn't have any paper. But yeah, it was just so much. And it was, I would even say, you know, in one specific reading that I was doing, it was inside of my tent. You know, when you're up on the mountain, it rains, so you spend afternoons in the tent to stay dry. And, you know, just in the gap that I had in the tent, you know, I was doing a reading, and there were pine needles and leaves that had blown into my tent right at the base, and just the way that they landed around the cards, like, it was just one of those things where I had to like kind of lean back a little bit and take it all in, because it had made the most beautiful. I was using my medicine cards, and it was just the most beautifully laid out, and they had just, you know, it was just one of those very synchronistic moments where you're like, that was like, that's the message from this energetic place that I'm in, that I am where I'm supposed to be and doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And just awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
That sounds awesome. That sounds awesome. I'm laughing. I'm just laughing so hard then, because I read something in the chat that said something along the lines of Avalon is my spirit animal.
Oh yes, bitch, you're my spirit animal too, just so you know.
That just made my heart really smile hard. But thank you, Jay. Thank you. Thank you. I can't wait to see this video that you're planning. I imagine, can we just break that 10-minute thing that you've got going on there for that one video? That's going to be a long one.
He said it's going to be 30 minutes long.
Oh, yeah, I already did. I talked to Laura, and I was like, no, I have this cap of 10 minutes on my videos. I said, this video is going to be at least 30 minutes. There is so much to talk about and so much to discuss and so much ritual that went into it and so much meditation. And there's no freaking way that I can fit it into 10 minutes. I mean, it's gonna be a long ass video for sure.
That's exciting. That's exciting because I'm really looking forward to this. I find those kinds of videos, those personal vlog style videos where there's transformation or just awesome experience, really, really igniting because they just feel very authentic. You know, they're not repeated information or, you know, taught teaching style things, which is very fun as well. But there's like that the personal stuff. I really like watching that kind of personal stuff. So I'll be there with my popcorn, just in the front row, i.e. my laptop. Perfect. Right, guys, we've reached that portion of the chat where, first of all, can I just say, we really did cover some awesome witch-related tarot stuff. And it went like journey-wise, sacred landscape-wise, pilgrimage odyssey-wise, you know, sense and that was a tasty, tasty subject to really tackle. I loved it. Every little bit of it. Loved every single person's contribution to it. Now, who's rocking what deck? Because we're going to start to sling some cards. So what is everyone rocking? Because I haven't made my selection yet. I know nobody wants to hear me say Sun and Moon Tarot again, but I love it. It's my jam right now. But I'm happy to go with another deck.
It's your spirit animal.
It is at the moment. And it just got a really nice piece of like selenite that sits directly on top of it. And I've got to show you this beautiful marriage of crystal and deck. Look at that. It's like it's made for it. It's just, makes my heart sing.
Yeah, I don't think you ever realized how thick that deck was. That's a thick deck of cards.
It's actually good card stuff. I'd say 350.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
That is nice. It's nice. It's nice a lot. So really, Ethony, please tell me Bad Bitches is in your hand right now. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
What have you got going on there, Will? Who's got what? Really? I need to know who's walking what deck. Somebody talk to me.
Okay.
I know Ethony.
I'm going to switch off actually between tarot and oracle, just the way I'm vibing, whichever way. But I have new era elements. I can't put this deck down. Sorry guys. And then I have shadows and light oracle. Jasmine Beckett Griffith. She's another spirit animal.
Okay, Chase, what have you got?
Today I am going to go with my English Magic Tarot. I have fallen in love with this deck, and you know, I hold it up every time, but I mean, can we just get me and a card? I mean, come on, y'all.
My heart is happy to see the English Magic Tarot in your hand. I've been waiting for the day where you're like, actually, I'm not going to use this one or this one. I'm going to use this one. And I'm like, yes!
It's delicious.
Today is a happy day for me.
It's delicious. I love it. Love it.
Oh, now I'm torn. I don't know what to use. Look, I've got so much choice.
What's William using? What are you using, bro?
Oh, my favorite read every day deck is covered in plastic, like I'm some kind of tarot grandma. So it shines on the camera. So I'm gonna go with the Robin Wood that I teach with on my YouTube channel.
Ooh, do you know what? How's this? How's this for a fun story? Let me just roll. I picked up the Robin Wood for $10. This is an old ass deck for $10. Like, look at that. And the box looks so dodgy, but the cards inside look beautiful. That was a happy day. That's a happy day. Actually, my dad got me that one. All right, really, someone vote for me. Sun and Moon or Dame Darcy Mermaid?
Sun and Moon.
Guys, you just stop it with your bad selves.
We just know you too well. That's the problem.
You just know what makes me happy. I might, you know what? If the mood strikes, I've also got my my charms here. So.
Ooh, that reminds me too. I'm gonna jump in real quick. So you're throwing bones. It inspired me to. I just bought. Well, I'm in the process of buying. I'm very selective about the ones I'm choosing, but I'm going to make a divination system with arrowheads. So I'm very excited for that.
And what I heard you say next was that you're going to make your very special soul sister Avalon a divination set made out of arrowheads. Oh my God! Thank you.
How weird! Wow, that's amazing. You were thinking that. Very weird.
Here's the thing. Holy crap.
All right, well, I have got, if the mood strikes, and I'm not saying that it will, but I've got some divination charms. Otherwise, I've got Sun and Moon here. Hello, baby. We're like, I haven't spoken to you since 5 minutes ago. All right, so we're going to open up. I think I've heard a knock on my door, so I'm just going to go and check on that really quickly. So, Allorah or Chase, would you mind taking over the mic for me? I'll be back in just a quick second, please.
I got you. Nope. Allorah's nope. All right, cool. So we are going to get into reading questions. So the first question I believe that we have way up here, give me a moment, is from Bow and Arrow. Yes? Thumbs up from Allorah? Yes. All right. So thanks. So the first question that we have is from Bow and Arrow, and it says, is my ex-friend going to cost me my job? So are we all going to pull one? Going to stack it? Sweet. Then I will entertain everyone while we shuffle our cards.
So hang on just 1 second. I'm going to explain this for William and Ethony. I'm sure Ethony knows how we read because she was on another episode of ours. But basically, we're all going to pull one card, and we're going to tell the story of the question. That's basically what happens.
And it always works out so well. I don't know how we do it, but there's some synchronicity between us that just works really, especially when we use our new era elements, which is way over there. So I don't want to use this guy.
Hey, I think it's like the triplet powers unite, and then anyone we bring into the circle
just like that vibe. Yep.
Yeah.
We're sucking in. For sure. For sure. So whoever draws a card first, feel free to hold it up, and we will let you start. Anyone? What week?
I can go first.
All right, go for it.
Okay, so Bow and Arrow, the first card that popped out of my deck is Temperance. I don't know if you can see this very well. There you go. It focused. This is a beautiful card. And with Temperance coming out in this, I think that it's a wait and see situation, and whether or not your friend's going to cost you your job, it really depends on how you react to the situation. So if you become overly dramatic and overly concerned and anxiety ridden and those types of things over this issue, it most certainly can cost you your job. But I feel like your reactions to what is happening is going to be the driving force behind which direction this situation turns. And that's what I got out of my card. Go ahead, Ethony.
Hi, and I've got my next one is the Emperor. This is talking about you getting strategic. You have to think this thing through. No more being on the back foot, no more being reactive. Definitely don't be too dramatic about it. I love what Allorah was saying about Temperance being that balance. But now it's also time to think clever, think like the Emperor, think strategically, think big picture. If you know that you need to get ahead of something, then get ahead of it. Look at your boundaries, look at your foundation, but look strategically, because that's what the Emperor wants you to do.
Go, Chase.
All right, so what I have drawn is a Six of Swords, and the phrase that came into my head, and I'm still trying to put it into words or like a full idea. The phrase that came to me was "go with the flow," and you know, I think what that is meaning is that don't start any shit yourself from the drama that's already happening. You have to you know, you have to understand that the situation is happening, and you cannot let it's super important. You cannot let any outside factors affect your day job. You know, when I was managing clubs, you know, I would tell all of my associates every day, whatever problems you have outside of the gym, when you walk into the gym, those are gone. Nobody comes to the gym to hear your problems, to hear the shitty day that you're having. You know, people are coming here to get over their shitty day. So it's important that we don't let that affect them. We don't let that affect us. And you know, we have more power in situations than we think we do, and it's important to not let other people affect us and our space and our energy. And you know, if this is your job, it doesn't have anything to do with her. You know, how you perform and how you do, let that speak over whatever situation is happening between you two. It's very much up to you.
Okay, so I got an Ace of Wands, and when I pulled this card, the first thing that popped into my head was it feels like walking around naked. Like, so it's two-part advice. Like, you have to have the ultimate confidence, and you have to be yourself and no one else. You can't, you know, take on stress and concern and allow it to affect your behavior. And you've got to have the balls to see your own way through a tough situation like that. The Ace of Wands. There you go.
I'm going to pass on this one, mostly because I came in sort of as the reading was going, so I didn't get to tap in on the juice. So all good, all good. Like, not that you care about my opinion, but like, yeah, you did really good, guys. Like, I'm so proud. Which is the next one, Allorah? Is it Dulcie? Okay. So. All right, hang on, where am I looking? Dulcie. Should I revive my channel and blog or leave them behind? That is the question.
Basket.
Did you say basket?
Yeah, basket.
Basket.
All right, well, fine, but I am not moving my camera and all that jazz. Y'all just gonna have to go with it.
All right, well, while because your basket takes quite a few cards, let's move to the next question. Matthew Alvarez, how can I have fun moving forward? Go on a pilgrimage.
Is it bad that the first thing that came to me was get laid?
Not at all. You know,
That's never a bad thing around here.
Nope, never. Was it our last live that we all drew a card that had something to do with sex? Like, somebody's answer was get laid, and then I drew a card, it was get laid, and then Allorah drew a card, it was get laid.
Yeah, I drew the lovers, so it instigated. That's what it was. I'm like, you need to get it on. So fun, so fun. Ethony, you're just like made for this channel. So sassy. So sassy.
I foot and mouth disease, that is for sure.
He does have the bad bitches tarot. I mean, come on, come on.
He does. He does.
So I have a card if you want me to start.
Yeah, you go.
Okay. So we have the Page of Wands, and for me, the Page of Wands is the archetype of Peter Pan in the tarot, in my court card archetypes. And Peter Pan sees the world through the eyes of a child. Peter Pan is inquisitive. Peter Pan doesn't want to grow up, doesn't want to grow old. Yes, Peter Pan may shirk from their responsibilities, but you ask how you can have more fun, get into the mindset and the magic of a child, look for the magic, believe that the magic is there, as Roald Dahl would say. Embrace your inquisitive mind, and see things through the eyes of a child who will never grow old.
Oh, I love that because it fits in really well with my card. I got the Prince of Swords. And so with that, I find that Ethony's is the advice and mine is the current perspective, whereby you may be sitting too aloft from situations at the moment to truly connect with them. You're taking a very analytical and a far more distant perspective. For you at the moment, it's probably all about overview, like where could I go? What can I do? Like the analytical thought process is going at 100 miles an hour, and you've actually fallen into the rut of overthinking it. You know, there's a desire for action there because there's movement in these cards. There's a strong desire for action. So this current perspective, to shift from this current perspective, then Ethony's is the perfect medicine to this card. I'm really happy with that.
All right, I'm gonna jump in here. So the card that I drew was the Hermit, which is so in line with what everybody else is talking about right now. You know, Ethony was talking about finding the magic and seeing the eyes through a child. You know, the Hermit, in order to sort of seek his enlightenment, he has to go off into places where he can be by himself and, you know, find new perspectives of things. I think the big thing for the Hermit is that he, in order for him to find answers, he knows he has to look outside of himself, and the vision that he has, you know, for us as we are, our perspective is all the things that we can see and we can understand. And that is just kind of where we live. And, you know, the Hermit understands that we have to get outside of that in order to find true answers. And so, you know, the answer may lie in literally going out. You know, the Hermit here is actively practicing magic. So it is, you know, it is super imperative that you, even for your own well-being, you know, outside of you know, whatever situation that you're in, you know, it's imperative for yourself to go out and find what moves you and find what your convictions are, and, you know, what makes magic for you. That's it.
I got a 10 of Swords. And so when I heard that question being read, it had a real sense of finality to me. Like, how will I ever have fun again? I'm not having fun right now. And no matter what kind of stress we're dealing with, the important thing to remember is that it's always worse in our head a great deal of the time than it is in reality. And so I would say to get a checkup from a person outside of yourself that, you know, cares about you and has your best interest at heart. Is it really that bad? Tell me. And they'll say, no, man, you're fine. You're just stressing out. And so remember to take some time to, you know, get out of your head.
Okay,
That's perfect. Your basket's ready, Laura?
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Okay. So the question is, hold on, let me scroll up. Should I revive my channel and blog or leave them behind? So the basket is 6 cards woven in a design, and I would turn my camera, but I'm not doing all that. But anyways, so what came up was the cards that appeared in the basket were the 7 of Cups, the Empress, Death, 3 of Wands, Queen of Swords, and 4 of Swords. So I definitely think that there is a revival of your channel here, but I don't think that it needs to be anything like it was. I think you need to go a totally different creative avenue. It needs to be more intellectual and more relaxed, not so busy. So I don't know if you were covering like a bunch of topics at once or something like that, but just have a very focused channel. And even if you do cover different topics, be sure that you organize them by, you know, subject, or, you know, make playlists, things like that. And there's a lot of possibility here. The Empress is a card of fertility and abundance, and the Seven of Cups talks about so many choices. So take your time, look through all of your options, revive your channel, go a different route. And yeah, so that's what came up for that.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Absolutely awesome. I love it when you do a basket. Okay, so we're moving on. The Tiger's Abyss. What should I know to help me with my Marielle video series? Oh, girl, boy, I can't read the gender from that. Doesn't really matter.
Boy.
That is a really, really awesome question that I have never, ever gotten before. Specifically, a video series with the Marielle. Ooh.
All right, so the card that I drew, one just fell out of my deck, so I'm going to go with it. So this is the Tower card. So the Tower card for me in this particular question is find out, maybe to really get in, delve in deep into a deck like the Marielle. You know, there's so much that's stuffed into it. Find out really, focus on, what am I trying to say? How can I word this? Find out what the card doesn't do. You know, in order for us to really dig in deep and figure out what a card does, sometimes we have to figure out what the card doesn't do. And so, you know, maybe this could be interpreted too as like the shadow side of the card. You know, there's a lot of that workings into the Marielle. And so I keep looking at the card. I would definitely start there, figure out what the card doesn't do, and really analyze and focus on the shadow side.
Okay, I got the Fool, which is hilarious considering you got the Tower. Interesting.
Allorah, no, pause that, because I got the 10 of Swords, and I feel like my 10 of Swords should follow his Tower, and yours should be the Fool because it's the good card.
Okay.
Okay, so I got the 10 of Swords here, which shows an element of, you know, of problems of anxiety even, and also there's a little bit of treachery there. I like a little treachery involved in my swords. So I would say, like, take everything that Chase said into careful consideration, and also try not to overshare your ideas with other people in case they get scattered far and wide and they rob that element of unique from your particular idea base. And so be very cautious with how you communicate your ideas to others. You do still want to share them up to a point, because you want to know if they feel right, if they connect with another person, you know, if they're making sense, if they flow nicely. It's a nice thing to do, to try and bounce your ideas, but be very careful who you select to do said bouncing of ideas, or said bouncing full stop. It's mine.
Should I go now? Okay, so I got the Fool. So really interesting, since Chase got the Tower and Avalon got the 10 of Swords. So I actually think this is talking about bringing in all of the elements somehow into the Marielle Tarot, because we know that from seeing the Marielle Tarot, it's very shadow work, very much darker deck, and goes into those crevices and places that we don't necessarily want to visit. But I think that you can bring a childlike wonderment to the Marielle and to studying it. So keep that in mind. And I don't know what that means about the elements, but I just keep hearing the 5 elements. So keep that in mind when you're thinking up your ideas.
Next.
All right, I got an 8 of Cups. And so the thing that I think should also be focused on is the fact that the Marielle is like a beast that you don't want to ride. Like, you know, you might decide that it's not for you. But if it is a thing that you're really centered on and interested in, then leave behind what you know and start your tarot practice like over again just with this deck. What does this deck say? What does this card mean? Because you'll trip yourself up on like if you're a Rider-Waite clone guy like me.
And finally, I have the Five of Pentacles. And for me, this was about don't get in your own way. Don't talk yourself out of it because you're worried about the enormity of the task. I was channeling, so I was writing it down. Don't worry about you feeling pretty enough or the quality of your camera, the quality of your videos. Yeah, don't basically talk yourself out of the experience because you're worried about being enough or good enough. Stay on path and do one thing at a time. So that was my channel message for the Five of Pence.
Using the roundup, the only one that had the only two people that had the really good cards were Allorah and Will there. You know, his is on the my side of things. that was a heavy card reading. That's a heavy card reading. So careful consideration. I felt like that needed a little extra something. Just really think it through. Where are we up to, Miss Allorah? Receiving D.
We are up to, hold on.
Christina D.
Yeah.
Should I start a YouTube channel for my art or for my witchy tarot stuff, or should I do both? Ooh. Okay. Okay. All right. Ethony, you're up.
I'm going to start. I have the King of Wands, and in the King of Wands in my tarot deck is the Entrepreneur. The King of Wands in my tarot archetypes. See how I'm just baiting you all for my book that's coming out? You're all going to read that out to you motherfuckers. It's the Entrepreneur. The King of Wands is not afraid to do things that other people haven't. For me, I got a very strong message from my guides to do both because they are part of who you are. Do a little bit of planning of spacing out the videos and having one on one and one on the art and one on your craft. This is about you as an expression of who you are. The Entrepreneur doesn't, this is funny because I'm not shitting over whatever I was going to say, but the great entrepreneurs of our time, Elon Musk, Richard Branson, all those people who were Beyonce, everyone told them they couldn't. Everyone told them they shouldn't do things, and they were like, fucking watch me. So this is a good positive yes for me. Peace.
I have to break in for a moment. I do have to break in for a moment. And I have to tell you, Ethony, I am such a huge fan of yours. I'm going to fanboy for a moment. Just the way that you do readings, and I'm such you talk, and I'm like, yes. I feel like I've done this every time that you talked, I'm just over here God, you're the shit. You're the shit. You're the shit.
Fabulous. She's fabulous, isn't she?
I'm watching so fucking hard over here right now.
I just want to say something here that has no relevance to the situation whatsoever, but it does, just quietly. She's Australian.
Okay, take that
shit. She's the voice of my Siri.
Oh, shit. Right.
Right.
Now she's laughing so damn hard she can't even talk. Great job, guys.
I freaking love it. All right, I'm gonna bring us back on topic here. So what I drew was the King of Coins, and the thing that I'm going to stack on with what Ethony was saying, the King of Coins is the master juggler. He can multitask, and he can handle these types of things. So yeah, I also get a reading of both. If you notice in this card particularly, I love this card because he is studying. Not only is he studying, it's not having him zoomed in studying one thing. He's surrounded by shelves and books, but you notice also, the the shelves aren't in a library. He's out in the open. So, you know, to signify that the possibilities are absolutely endless. So absolutely, I say do both.
Yeah, and the card that I got actually, so with you guys all talking about being an entrepreneur and juggling different things and so forth and so on, I think, so I got the Three of Cups. And the way that I read this card is all of this is going to bring you emotional fulfillment and be celebratory for you and really get you in your soul and in a place that nothing else has touched really. So with your art and with your craft and with your spiritual path, I think those are all your passions, and you should absolutely share them if that is what you're leaning towards. And the Three of Cups basically talks about how, yes, you definitely should do it all because it's going to be emotionally fulfilling and spiritually heightening for you.
So I got the Empress reversed. So the Empress is a figure that denies herself in order to provide like emotional nutrition for everybody around her. She's like the huggy mom and the pat on the back. And when the Empress is in reverse, listen to yourself. Listen to yourself. I mean, ignore us, but take our good advice. But do the thing that makes your heart open. It's your time. You don't have to be the Empress for anybody else.
Okay, and I got the 10 of Wands, right? So wonderful advice given thus far, but here's the thing. If you get to the point where you are feeling overwhelmed, where you're feeling ultra burdened by, you know, juggling so many things and contributing to so many things and feeling obligated to fulfill commitments that you have made for yourself, then it's perfectly okay to just sit down and restructure things, okay? You don't have to sit there and lug the whole thing into a point where it's not enjoyable anymore. So if ever your rhythm that you have cultivated for yourself, you know, for your art and for your other pursuits, expressive pursuits, if it becomes too much, there is nothing stopping you from just going, oh, actually this is not working, I just need to change my rhythm here. It would be silly of me to just keep on going because it's not working and I'm getting very stressed and it's, you know, I've overcommitted here and there and in this place and that place. So it's perfectly okay to admit that too. If you want to admit it on your channel, it'd be perfectly okay for you to do that, and then allow the people the opportunity to see as you restructure and things of that nature, so that you can, I don't know, feel more at peace and not so weighed down with 10 wands. I got some good nods there and a stroke of the beard. Okay, so what are we up to? Oh, okay, Chase is good for one more, so he should start this next one. Holy doolies, it's moving so fast. Okay, hang on, let me just read. Is it Erica, Justine, or Justin? Am I on the right career path? Yes, that's the one. That's the one. Chase, would you like to go first on this one?
I sure will, because I already have a card. So the card that I have drawn is the Three of Coins, Three of Pens, Three of Earth. So, you know, this tells me that you're building up to that point. Maybe you're not there yet. It may not feel like it yet, or, you know, the feeling of completion may not be there yet, but you're building up to that. Yeah, you're definitely on the right path. And I think the key with the Three of Coins, it's not necessarily shown in this card, but a traditional Three of Pens shows, and it doesn't show a man, you know, working by himself. He's working with others. He has others that are overseeing him and helping him. And I think that's a really good thing to, really good advice for anybody in a job situation. You know, we can always get help from other people, and we can rely on others if we're careful about who we surround ourselves with, because, you know, in job situations, there are people who like to step on other people to move forward. Unfortunately, that is a problem that we face. So be careful who you surround yourself with. And I think you are definitely building up to having a successful career for sure.
Beautiful, beautiful. Sorry, I was shuffling that whole time and I realized I didn't mute my mic. Who doesn't like to hear the sound of shuffling though? Just quietly. It should be an ASMR video, just between you and I. Who would like to go next? Because I'm not done shuffling.
I'm the guy with the reversals today, apparently. I got a reverse 10 of coins. So for me, the 10 of coins is always going to be dealing with like extended family. And so I feel like maybe this person is carrying some familial expectation. Like it could be the older relative going, that's an unusual career field that you're going to fail in because I've never heard of it. Or it could be the family going, you know, you have to be a success of this because all of your cousins have to go to college with your profits. We don't know the whole situation, but I think that this person needs to learn what familial advice is positive and uplifting and what familial advice comes from a negative place.
Okay, I've got the 2 of Pentacles. And so for me, that's all about balancing contracts and inviting the opportunity for change in the area of resources. So that perfectly reflects the aspect of career here, because that is a means through which we access our resources. And so, you know, balancing your expectations here and the potential that exists in this situation for you is going to be important. Likewise, balancing contracts, but it also brings through this little element of change. So I'm all for change, to be as ambiguous as I can be.
Well, I'm going to be really unambiguous. No, you're not on the right career path. I think from like the cards that you've had and people have talked about change, and you've just had a 2 of Pentacles and now 2 of Wands. 2 of Wands is about finding something new, finding networking, partnerships, go to people that there is something that you actually want to do, and there is someone that you have connected with in your past and you want to be doing that, but there's almost this part of you that is scared to go and ask that person for help or mentoring or to introduce you to the person that you need to get introduced to. So it's time to like straight up claim what you want and use your resources and your network to your advantage, because that's what the 2 of Wands is all about.
Okay, can I go? Because okay, so you're gonna be the rebel and all of that. So funny. So I got the Daughter of Air. So this card is a really, the way that I interpret it for you is do your research, get intellectually and mentally involved in figuring out if the career path you're on is really what you want to do with your life. Because I feel like it's been lucrative for you or has worked for you thus far, but I don't feel like you really enjoy what you're doing. And I think that you have other passions that need to be explored, and you just really need to get down to the nuts and bolts of researching what it is you're passionate about and finding out how you can make that a career. But you know, Chase talked about how you were on the right career path, and I do believe that. I believe it's worked for you thus far, but I don't think that, you know, that's going to be your career path forever and ever. If you wish to look further into other avenues that feed your soul, so to speak.
Yes, yes. Chase, we've done a round. Do you need to away? Is this your exit time, or are you staying with us a little bit longer?
I don't ever want to be the guy that leaves early. So I will stick around as long as the episode goes.
Oh, look at you little treasure. You dainty little treasure.
Look at him getting all kinds of brownie points, trying to milk the crowd. Such
I'm here for you folks.
I am selflessly here for you guys. I will sacrifice my sleep and of myself just so that I can partake in the wisdom that we all have for you.
Okay, but you're here
for this. He walked up a mountain and got here like a minute before the show aired. Like enlightened.
She just went
and ready, but hungry.
You just went full on country accent, girl. She like channeled Oklahoma or some shit, like live. That's crazy.
No, look, speaking as like the lovable tubby beardy dad with a 2-month-old, you're an idiot. You need sleep, man. But like, I like having you.
Appreciate that. I usually, to be honest, I usually wake up. Well, no, I usually just forego sleep on Monday nights and just survive my Tuesday without sleep and just sleep real good Tuesday nights. Usually, what ends up happening for me.
Oh, I like it. I like this element of sacrifice. No sacrifice, no victory. That's Transformers.
Home, y'all.
Look, this is sleep we're talking about, not Manchester United. Yikes. You'll never walk alone, Chase.
Okay, who have we got next? Oh, we've got Roxy. Roxy's next. Roxy is a beloved YouTuber of ours. We have recently featured Roxy's channel. She's wonderful. She's developing her skills as a reader as we speak, and she's got a beautiful personality. Not that it's relevant in any way, but she's Australian. And that's just a little fun.
Oh my God. Okay, you know what? Now we're just going to have to start saying, and she's American, and he's American, and you know what? He's American.
We're a minority, dude. That's why I like to say it. We are outnumbered here.
Look at this ethnocentric
Anyway,
show.
back on track. Don't deviate from the current situation. The question is, should I be moving on from my current job? Should indeed. Should she indeed? Who would like to go first? Who's been shuffling the longest and has a card ready? Go.
No. The 7 of coins is the harvest. It is collecting the good things in our life. And if your career or job or what you do to sustain your lifestyle provides you with the good things in your life that are worth remembering, then stick with it.
I got the Queen of Wands. And for me, in relation to that card, there is power at the moment that you're not owning. You know, there's sovereign, divine, feminine, could be masculine as well, but feminine power that you are not owning. And so what I would say is that you're in the zone right now. And there is always this temptation when we're in the zone of something amazing to want to venture out and make it a thing, right? You're definitely in the zone of something. With Will's card being that of harvest, I would say just wait that little bit longer. You've got it. You're in the zone, but just wait for that harvest. There's something, you know, on its way that's going to assist you to really feel that sense of completion, you know, in the resources sector of your life. And then will come that self-expressive, expansive rise to sovereign awesomeness. I just love the Queen of Wands so much. I love it so much. And also, I want to say something about fire magic here and the Leo moon. And I'm not going to say too much about it, but I would just like to say working with the element of fire throughout this next rotation or lunation will be very beneficial to you, particularly with 2 eclipses in this 1 month. So carefully navigate. We're in the season of Leo, which is governed by sun and fire. So there's a lot of activities that you could be doing, just saying.
I did some of that last night. Hint, hint.
It shows you're glowing.
Yay me. Well, I have cards, so I can go, I guess. Okay, so 2 cards actually. One of them flew out of the deck. The other one fell out of the deck. But so the first one that popped up was the 5 of Wands. And in this card, it's pictured as a airplane throwing bombs. Basically, the way that I read this is you're warring with yourself over this, but you're not really sure why. So, oh, somebody knocked on my door. Hold on just one second.
Should
Who's
I
next?
go while we're waiting?
Go.
So all your Leos are going to love the strength card. So yeah, strength. So this is a really, really powerful time. Use your power wisely, use your time wisely and your resources wisely, as Avalon mentioned. The strength card, when we are really embracing our inner strength, we know when to push, we know when to pull, we know when to be quiet and when to be loud. So walk with your power, don't let it dominate you, and know when to allow things the grace and the space, and then know when to take the reins and go for it, baby.
Allorah, you're up.
Yeah, I was going to say, sorry, I couldn't help that. Anyways, so what I was saying is there's like a conflict going on in your head about it. And I feel like it's an unwarranted conflict at this point, because the other card that came up is the 8 of Pentacles. And in this deck, it's elephants moving together through the desert. And like Avalon said, she was talking about how hang in there, something's coming. And so I feel like you're going to get some help. Some great team members coming in that you just haven't met yet or haven't been hired yet. And I feel like you're going to have more people to lean on. And I feel like, okay, I don't know why I'm getting this, but I feel like the company that you work for isn't very supportive, and there's not a lot of people there that really support the workers, but there are people coming, because, I'm going off, Avalon, and then this card too talks about how elephants move in herds and they never leave one another. So you're definitely going to get some help there.
Am I the last one?
You are.
All right. So what I have drawn is the 7 of Swords. So we're gonna get a little unconventional. So the English Magic Tarot has a little bit of a different take on what the 7 of Swords is. If we're talking a traditional Rider-Waite deck, the 7 of Swords, has a picture of a man walking away with what we presume to be somebody else's sword, somebody else's belongings. In this particular card, this is a man that's running away from 7 swords that are chasing him. I think that the reason that we ask these questions, I just about lost my computer. The reason that we ask these questions is, should I do this, is mainly rooted out of fear. And, we can't let fear drive us and make our decisions for us. Fear has a place. Rabbit tells us, Rabbit is animal medicine of fear. It's okay to have a little bit of fear, because that does, initiate our fight or flight senses, and it's okay to acknowledge it and have it, but we can't let it run our lives. And so, if you're saying that you're asking this question because it's something that you would like to do, but you're afraid to do because you're afraid of unknown outcomes, then it's worth putting some research into and some time into. And, we don't ever, it's not like we say, okay, do I want a new job, and then one just pops up and we just take it. No, it takes research. And, we go out on these days, we go out online to Indeed.com or whatever, and we start researching and putting some time into it. And I think it is worth it. That's how we get past our fear. The more knowledge that we have, the less we have to be scared of. So, go out and do some research and get some knowledge. And then after you've gotten some facts and some details and some job availability, or, in your chosen field or whatever, then make a decision after that.
That's really, really lovely. All good advice. I would also like to say, just from a more like someone who lives in the country and who just understands a little bit about the work payout system here, you know, in relation to William's card, his was out of harvest. So I feel that when you're ready to take that step and you've done that analysis that's necessary for that transition to occur, and you put in your papers to terminate your employment, you do get a good, you'll get a good hefty amount of back pay, coupled with, you know, the mid-year tax return kind of business. Yeah, like it could be the necessary financial or resourceful push that could assist you in developing a website, or, you know, doing, you know, putting a little bit of capital into what it is that you would like to do from, you know, an individual, you know, fiery, you know, creative perspective. So I just wanted to add that. But we are at 2 hours. We're at the 2 hour mark here, and some of us have to get going. Chase is lacking sleep. Ethony has children. My own daughter just opened the door. So she got herself out of bed, walked down the hallway and opened the door for herself. So right on 1:32. So that's saying a lot. And she will be hungry because it is lunchtime here. So I feel that we must wrap this particular I was going to say gathering. I'm so used to my coven. But I really feel like Anna, the artist from my tarot deck, asked a question regarding the suit of swords, and it would mean the world to me if you guys could pull cards on that, because she's asking how the Bonestone suit of swords would go, because it's the big one, guys. It is, the swords are a beloved suit. They hold a lot of stuff in there. Like, stuff is the best word that I can look for, because there's a lot of heat there, you know, and it has to be perfect. The 3 of swords has to be perfect. The 9 of swords has to be perfect. The 8 of swords, the whole suit needs to be perfect. It's my favorite suit. All of the cards that I look for, well, just about all of them are there in that suit. So I'll pull for myself. What is that?
The 6 of Wands. Victory. It's going to be fine. You guys are doing a great job, and you're keeping all of the symbolism and things in mind, and you really just need to relax, because you know what you're doing. You're going to cross the finish line. It's going to be great. I'm going to need you to just have a glass of wine and put on some Enya and chill out.
First of all, I will not listen to Enya. Second of all, I got the Temperance card, which does show alchemy to a degree. And it's about making sure that, you know, we stay on par with, I feel like I'm reading for myself here, which I am, but, you know, I think this is a very, very amicable card to depict a certain synergy and alchemy that occurs whenever we gather and create, and coupled with the victory that, look at her. Come and say hello, Snowshoe. This is Serenity. Hi, Beanie Boo.
That's my child, just so you know. My child. She's just like
Isn't she beautiful? All right, that's what I've got. Anyone else?
All right, so I'm going to answer your sword question with the swords. So I have the 4 of swords, and basically the 4 of swords is talking about just take your time with it. You know, again, exactly what Allorah was saying. You know what you're doing. Just, you know, as long as you take time to sit back and think about it, and, you know, don't make any rash decisions about it, you're going to be fine. Don't stress about this deck. It's already like the fucking dopest shit I've seen. So, like, you'll be fine. You're gonna be just fine.
Thank you.
I also had a swords card, the Page of Swords, the Child of Inspiration, and the swords are my favorite suit too. I love the swords. So just enjoy the creation and the ability that you have to embody it, and ride the wind, ride the wings. I'll Enya you some anyway, because you won't listen to Enya, but ride the winds of your inspiration. Sail away, sail away, sail away. There you go.
oh, shit is singing, y'all. Whoa.
I'm telling you, Ethony, we're just one actual face-to-face meeting and about 19 beers away from being best friends. Like, it's a true story.
And I will drink those beers with you, my dear.
Right
And
on.
we will both be singing some weird ass song by the end of it. I come from the land down under.
Oh, God help us.
So I got the hangman. This one is upside down on purpose. Here's the thing about the hangman. Okay, he's a student and he's learning this spiritual life, right? And there are other people around to moderate his experience and take care of him. He's learning to have vision, right? You are a team in this process. So you're monitoring each other and keeping each other safe and well. And where everybody else is talking about Enya for some reason I can't begin to understand, I think that you should Fleetwood Mac and go your own way.
Hey, damn it. I like listening to Enya when I'm in the tub, okay? Just takes me away.
Dear Penthouse, I never believed that this would ever happen to me.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you kindly for that, folks, for squeezing that very last one in. But we are at the end of our broadcast. The children are coming out now. The literal children are coming out. And we have Sleepy, Jazzed After Ritual, Always Awesome Witch, and the Hiking Master towards the end there. We have to go. Like we must away and do our awesome stuff. So I would like to say to you, thank you for the bottom of my heart for joining. I would also like to say, if you have loved this broadcast, please like and subscribe to our channel. Please share this with like-minded individuals, because we are all about community. We do have our community awards coming up, our tarot-based community awards coming up, and we actually need community in order to achieve that, to make sure that, you know, accolades go out to the people that are out there on YouTube, sacrificing their time, putting their kids to sleep, timing everything down to a T in order to, you know, give you great content for you to enjoy. So never underestimate what it takes to make a YouTube video, and never underestimate the kind of, never underestimate the, you know, the kind of energy and, you know, challenges that YouTubers face as well. So, you know, we love it. We love being here. We love giving you, you know, awesome content, but we have to make sure that everything behind the scenes is well balanced in order to achieve that. So, and we appreciate that in you, and we appreciate that in other channels as well, which is why we want to give those shout outs to those people who are out there starting up channels, those people who are out there plugging away for years and years at their channels and creating beautiful content for us all to learn from, to inspire us, to ignite us, to activate us. It's amazing what you can find out there on YouTube. It's amazing the kind of learning and the quality of learning that you can encounter on YouTube, and the kind of humble wisdom that you will find lurking around the interwebs. So it is within that spirit, within that context, that we are doing these community awards. Please head to our Spread This Witches page and vote. Vote with your heart and with your soul. Ask other people to vote with their heart and their soul, because good juju comes your way. We're spreading love here, people, and we've got awesome, beautiful prizes as a result of that. So that's all I'm going to say for me. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to allow the guests and hosts to say goodbye themselves, and I will leave you to it. Much love.
Bye, everyone. Bye. Thank you so much for having me. Bye.
See you guys later.